I'm going to start off with, just a little, just setting the stage a little bit with AI, with ChatGPT. One of the things I did want to bring up is there's a lot of noise in the industry around AI texting, AI voice. And you're going to hear more and more and more of this stuff because it's becoming easier and easier to do. But I want to stress the importance to everyone that it's incredibly important that your AI texting, your AI voice works in sync with your IDX activity, right? And with your CRM, everything's tied together. If someone's trying to sell you some sort of um, a chat widget or a voice widget, but it's not tied to your IDX, it's pretty much worthless compared to what the Ylopo's AI text and voice is doing for you. So tying it all together is the really, really hard part. Just creating a bot and doing that is really easy. So we've done the hard part. We've done what we consider is where you're going to make the most money and get the most benefit, which is all the heavy prospecting. So a lot of that stuff is done for you. So don't be distracted by everyone selling a bot, everyone selling voice. Just remember, if it's not tied to all your IDX, it's not pushing into your follow-up boss, then it's not really doing you a favor. It's probably going to make more work for you than what than necessary. So I wanted to start off with that, but one of the first case study that I wanted to share with you guys is I went in and I watched probably 40 to 50 videos on YouTube videos on ChatGPT and real estate and what are the best case studies. And the best one that I was able to find for you guys that I wanted to share with you is around redoing listing presentations. So the way you've traditionally written listing presentations needs to change because if you want to show up in the large language models such as ChatGPT, Perplexity, right? So the reason it needs to change is because people, when they type in ChatGPT, they type in differently than what they do in Google. So in Google, they will say homes for sale in a particular market, right? And just find me, and they'll give very general numbers and specifics. But with ChatGPT, they know how freaking smart it is. And they're going to go and say, I want, a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house close to these types of schools that's, only driving distance to this and that and this. And a lot of the times it's very location specific. So, but you can't just put in your descriptions, I'm close to the city center or stuff like that. So you have to be very specific to show up in large language models with your location verbiage. So for example, if you are close to one of the top schools in the city, you say you are 0.4 miles away from specific school, right? And then you have to actually list out the actual specifics of how far away you are from the key amenities and sort of destinations and things that people may be searching for. But let me share my screen for you. I'm going to make it really
So,
easy so you don't have to figure this out. There is a ChatGPT that you guys can use that's going to do all of this for you. Okay. And it's here and it's called REAIF Listing Description Creator. So I'm going to, so if you guys want to find that, but what I'm going to do, why doesn't somebody give me a, let me see. I want to take someone's listing description. Actually, you know what? Let me just go on Zillow and do it right now. I'm going to find a property in Las Vegas. Here's a property here. And I'm going to take their listing description and I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to show you. So this is basically, it's just all about the property, right? And it's about, there's nothing else. And it also shows you how to do the notes for your MLS and everything as well. So let's go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to take that description If you click on it, what does this GPT do? It'll literally go in and it'll tell you exactly what it does for you. But I'm going to type in here, help me rewrite this listing description, and paste it in. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to come back and ask you for some additional information to clarify certain things, right? Because only you guys know best. Address the neighborhood, right? Yeah, so you can put in your MLS limit. I'm going to put, I don't know the neighborhood on this one, so I'm just going to leave that. Desired tone. I'm just going to put conversational. I want to do a full rewrite. And then, yes, please include the POI data. Boom. So you just basically make sure you answer those questions that are, oh, property address, neighborhood, okay. That would help if I gave it the address.
And while you're finishing this up, Kiwi, just want to walk me through verbally how you got to this again. You went to the inside
Good point.
ChatGPT
Good point. So
into what?
Yeah, you want to go under. So you won't have it in your left navigation like I had it. So you're going to click on the little explore button under ChatGPT's GPT.
I just dropped the link in the chat to Kiwi, so if anyone needs it.
Yeah, so you click on explore, and then you're going to type in, REIF listing description creator. And then you'll find it, and then you can add it. Okay, so that's the way you add it in. So
great, thanks for that.
Yeah, no, good call out. All right, so I just had to answer. Okay, here's the structure, upgrades and features. Let's see.
And Kiwi, when you're working with these custom GPTs, do you worry about what model it's running on, or is that decided at the GPT level?
I have mine set on automatic, right?
Okay.
So
cool.
I don't have to figure it out. And they just did an update. I think it was today, right? I think it's 5.1.
Yeah.
So
it's 5.1 as of 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
So it's fun we're doing this webinar and they updated the same day.
You used to have to worry about it more. The whole idea now is you don't have to worry about it as much. But essentially, what it's going to do now, and it's going to come up with, it's going to give you all the property information, but it's going to give you a lot more data, raw data that the large language models like to cling on to, because that's what people are searching for. They're going into very, detailed information around school districts. So, yes, confirm. I just need to confirm the above. So it's gone through, it has a few questions it's asking me because it doesn't know the neighborhood as well. So it's just, you're having to reaffirm a few of the details of the listing. Okay, here we go. Here's the final result, right? So here's the headline. Half-acre lot, no HOA. These are, that's based on keywords as well that they know are very popular, like having no HOA is a big deal in certain parts of Vegas, resort style, RV parking, minutes to the Strip and Allegiant Stadium. Again, proximity to certain things. And then I'm sure, like down here, nearby amenities, right? 0.6. This is one of the hottest coffee shops in the country. Grocery, park, retail, dining, Allegiant Stadium, the airport. So going into detail of where things are in reference to your listing is going to become more and more important. So this essentially mixes keywords, mixes location, all the most important things, and rewrites descriptions for you. So I think this is a super powerful tool, especially if you guys want to start showing up the large language models. So it's free. Feel free to take advantage of that. Any other questions, you guys? It's pretty straightforward. You just simply plug in either your MLS number, your address, and the property description, and say, help me rewrite this. And it'll go to town and it'll ask you any clarifying questions. Like, I didn't even give it the address initially. I was spaced out on that. But once I plopped that in, then it was able to come back and give a lot more details. So, okay, cool. So the other thing I want to share with you guys is the ability to be able to, so this is more for traditional SEO, but it also brings in the large language models again with some more location specific data. So your community pages on your website. So you all have branded websites on Ylopo that we've built for you, but most of you haven't done anything with your community pages. So that it's a very small basic piece of text. So there's a big opportunity on those community pages to write really well written content, so you can start to show up in the search engines, in the large language models. But how do you do that, right? That's the question. So I spend a lot of time creating what we call a one-shot prompt, which is, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we gotcha.
Cool. So, and you don't have to copy any of this. This is actually all in the Ylopo Success community in the Facebook group under Files. If you go under Files, you'll see it in there. It's the 5 things every homeowner buyer wants to know before they move to an area, right? So the whole goal of this prompt is you actually download this PDF, you upload it into ChatGPT, and all you simply do is you say community name equals, and then the community you want the content written for, right? So let's say we did Lake Las Vegas. Let me actually just do it for you. Oops, sorry. Let me go back here. So let me go to a new ChatGPT. So you're just going to drop it in there.
While this is running, Dale said in the chat, where can we get a copy of these prompts? We're going to be posting those in the Ylopo Success community. It's under Files. I just put a link directly to that community in there for you, Dale.
So, again, it's asking some clarifying questions to the prompt. But what it's essentially doing, let me give you a bit of more context on this actual prompt. So, number one, and this is very important for all prompting, which Matt is, and Chris are going to touch on this a bit later, but you want to tell it the role that it's playing. So think of it as a, every time you go to ChatGPT, it's a role. You want to tell it what role you want it to play. So in this particular case, I want it to play the role of an real estate expert and community blogger who has lived in the market for decades. You've seen the area evolve from developments, restaurants, schools, blah, blah, blah. You write an authority personality, deep local insight that home buyers trust, right? So that's a really good instruction on who it should be like. And what's the goal, right? I want 1,800 to 25 words. I want a really deep research and written article. This is the title, and it's going to put in your community name. And again, you need to tell it who the audience is. Whenever you're using ChatGPT and writing prompts, 2 things you always should do is give it the role that it's going to play. Who do you want it to be? And number 2 is the audience. Who are you targeting? So we're targeting people considering buying a home in this area, both from, out-of-state relocators or local exploring to move to a new part of town, right? So then we give it the requirements of the article. Focus on real-world insights, blah, blah, blah. And then the structure. There's the lifestyle, and then it's broken down into 5 different pieces, this prompt, right? Lifestyle and local vibe. for this area. Schools and this is based on research of what we know when people look into the area, what's most important to them. Schools and education, the market and home styles, right? Community and connectivity. And then finally, you know, things to do, local hotspots. So it's going to create an article which incorporates all of these things for you. So it's you know, it took me a long time to write that prompt, but it comes up with really good articles for you. And then all you need to do is copy and paste those into your community pages. So I'll give you an example. One here I actually already did. This is for, you know, for Lake Las Vegas. You know, I created it. Here's the headline. And then, and this is under the, if you go into communities, you know, Lake Las Vegas for this particular client, it shows up in here. And then also underneath it, we have the rest of the article. So it's spread out, and in between it, what do we have? We have your IDX feed, because there's no point in having an article without IDX in there, because the IDX is how you guys basically monetize the traffic and the eyeballs. So this, and then what I would simply do is I would rinse and repeat this for every single community for this client. And it'll write completely different content for each one, because obviously each market is different. And then you just copy and paste them into your branded website page directly from ChatGPT. And if you know any of you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to me, Kiwi at Ylopo. Just send me a message. I can do a Loom video. But it's really simple. You're just simply copying and pasting into your community pages on your branded site. But you know, you'll find, and these are, you know, there's a lot of safeguards in here, so it doesn't get picked up as spam. It doesn't get picked up as AI generated. It's as if you paid someone a lot of time and money to do the research and do the writing. I will say it's not perfect. If you've got very niche neighborhoods and communities that may not have a lot written about them or out there, it may be harder for the AI to do this for you. But any big area, any big market, it's going to do a really bloody good job. So yeah, those are the two ChatGPT sort of prompts and case studies that I had for you guys. So yeah, you can, again, download it from the Facebook group. And now I'll hand it over to who wants to go next, Matt or
I can
Chris?
do mine next.
Cool. All right, Matt,
Yeah.
take it over, mate.
All right, so I'm going to share a few simple prompts that I like using in kind of my day-to-day. Just give me 1 second here. Let me open my tabs. All right. So first thing, you know, Kiwi kind of touched on, right? It's really important to make sure that you're kind of just prompting the AI the proper way, right? You want to really tell it what to do. So I'll share this doc with everyone. Just want to kind of go through it really quick, just take a minute. So I kind of use the relic framework, right? And relic kind of stands for the R is role. So you want to tell the AI what it's doing, right? You're my copywriter, you're my lead conversion coach, you're my social media expert. Whatever it is, you want to make sure you tell it, right? The E is explicit instructions. You want to make sure you're telling it exactly what you want it to do, right? Because the AI is only as good as what you're telling it, right? The instructions you're giving it. L is the length. So how long do you want that response to be? The I is for inspiration, is kind of examples of style or voice or the vibe you want to give it. And then C is the context, where you're really telling it, you know, who the content's for, why it matters, what you're trying to do, right? So a couple bonus things here too. You can ask questions to make your prompting better. So one of the things I do in a lot of my prompts is I ask this one. I'll say, hey, ask me questions until you're 95% sure you can complete the task, right? And sometimes it'll come back and ask me a few questions. I'll fill them in, and it'll give me a much more robust response, right? Another good one's asking it to reflect on your response. You know, give me a few versions with different tones, break it down to a simple step-by-step plan. So different things like that, right? Whenever you're talking to AI, really treat it as it's your assistant, right? It's somebody kind of working for you. Give it exact instructions on what you want. So one of the things that I used to do a lot is deal of the week, right? I still do those now, but it would take me a lot of time to go through my system, to go through the MLS, to find those deals of the week, right? Now, my market, it varies. There's many different properties. So what I do in my deals of the week, I kind of send the top 5 each week, right? I send 5 properties in different categories. We're kind of using the Zillow integration with ChatGPT here as well. So I'm essentially telling it like, hey, you're my real estate copywriter, right? Each Monday at 9 a.m., you're going to find me the top 5 listings. This is something a lot of people don't realize ChatGPT can do as well, is you can actually tell it, do this task for me every week at this time or every day at this time, and it'll do it for you. I have another prompt too where it gives me like a mortgage rate update every day at 9 a.m., right? So you're acting as my property researcher on Zillow and a marketing writer. So here's the explicit instructions. Again, you guys will get copies of all of this. We're basically searching Zillow. We're finding 5 listings for me. I like doing a pool home, a golf course property, higher end single family, standard, and then a condo. So it's kind of a property for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, right? And then for each property, we're getting the city, the list price, the bed and bath, a short, catchy 1 or 2 sentence description. And what it's going to do is write a clean professional email, right? Orange kind of deals of the week with my brand. It's going to give me it in text format without any links. So I'm not sending out the property address or the property links in my deal of the week email. I'm basically saying, hey, here's the deals. If you want to know more, reply back, right? I'm doing about 400 words, 2 short sentences, and I'm kind of explaining a little bit of description of how I want it to talk, right? So here's kind of what it looks like, right? So every week it goes through, searches, gives me those properties, right? So here's my pool home, here's my golf course home, here's my high-end SFR, here's my standard, here's my condo. And then down here, there's actually links. So if you want to click on the links and see what properties it's pulling, you can click them and see that. And then all I have to do is just copy this, throw it into my email, and fire it off. So, what used to take me an hour or 2 to figure out every week, now it works in just seconds. So this is a super easy prompt that anybody can kind of take and they can use today, right, in their day-to-day.
And this runs on a regular schedule. So what happens, Matt, if you are not in front of ChatGPT when it's time for it to run?
It'll still do it, and then I have it on my phone, the app. So the app actually pops up and gives me a notification and says, hey,
oh, cool,
your thing is ready.
So you just get like a push notification on your phone, like, hey, this thing is the thing you asked me to do is done.
Yeah, it's super easy. I have a bunch of things
cool is that?
where I tell it to do things at certain times of day. It's super exciting. Even for the mortgage rates, right? I have another one where I tell it, this one's super simple. It's just, every day look at Mortgage News Daily. Give me a summary of the mortgage rates with sentiment, right? So literally every day my ChatGPT pops up, gives me, what the rates are looking like, if they're up or down from yesterday, a little bit of details on the market sentiment, and then I can click into Mortgage News Daily and see what's going on, right? So it just saves me from open my internet open my browser every day and go into the website and looking at it, right?
Love this. That's so handy.
Yeah, and these are super easy things that you guys can kind of implement today, right? And start doing. I'll provide this to everyone. So what you want to do when you use this is just edit some of this information here, right? So put in like your city and the types of properties you want it to pull, and then it should work just fine for you.
Hey, Matt, someone had the same question I had for you initially when you showed me. Is like, isn't this going to put your leads into Zillow?
No. So basically what's going on is I am having ChatGPT search Zillow because it has that Zillow integration, finding me the properties. This part here is just for me, the Zillow link, so I can go to Zillow and look at the properties. But when I send the email, I'm just sending this. I'm sending basically, here's your pool home. It's in Lake Forest. It's 1.175. It's a 4.2. Here's the description. Do you want more info? Email me back, right? So then they will shoot me a message back, and I'll either call and talk to them or send them the property that they're asking about. So I'm not sending out Zillow links in the email.
Yeah, the daily tasks thing's great. I use it as well. Like,
it is.
I've got some rental properties, and I want to know if there's another rental property comes in the market that might be outpricing me. So I have it run a query every morning at 6 a.m. and then it'll just tell me if there's any new rentals that are in my sort of wheelhouse that could affect my, my price. And it just notifies me every day. So it's great for that.
Yeah, and what you do is you just tell it in the prompt. So when you're prompting something, you just tell it, at 8 a.m. every Monday, do this for me.
Yeah.
And it'll basically do it for you. So pretty
Love
cool.
that. Someone said, how do you integrate Zillow in your ChatGPT? You'll be happy to hear. It's already done for you. All
Yeah,
you have
you
to
can
do
just
is
tell
query
it.
it.
Basically, you just tell it in your prompt, like search Zillow, and it'll do it for you.
Yeah, Michael, Zillow's the only real estate app that's embedded into ChatGPT as of right now. But you'll see many more starting to show up next year. But they're
Yeah,
the first one.
for sure.
Right. So you just tell it, and it'll basically do it for you. It takes a second, but yeah, see, so it's going through Zillow now and searching.
And Matt, you're using the 5.1 model there, is that right?
Yeah, I guess it just got released yesterday. I don't know too much about the difference yet, but I am using it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be a smoother conversation. You're not supposed to, you're not, it's supposed to, you can have, you don't have to prompt as heavily, like be an engineer, like
Yeah.
level prompter to get good results, right? You can just really talk to it more and
Yeah.
get good results. So that's kind of where they're going with it.
I've only had it for 3 hours, but I have noticed it's much more conversational.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it makes it makes doing this
Mhm.
feel less intimidating.
The prompts are going to be in the Ylopo Success community at the Facebook page. You just go under files, click under files, and you'll see them at the top there.
Yeah, and then the last part I wanted to share is just a little bit more about the custom GPTs really quick. So if you do have the paid version of ChatGPT, you can create your own custom GPTs, and I can share a link to everyone a little bit later in the YSC about this. But if you go to explore here, these are all the GPTs that you have, right? You can hit create, and basically what a custom GPT is it's using all the power of ChatGPT, but it's researching what you tell it to research, right? You can upload files that you want it to look at. You can kind of make like a little kind of like a walled garden out of what you want it to look at to give the response. So one of the things I created is a lead conversion coach, right? So I'm calling it lead conversion coach. I'm putting that prompt in here where I'm telling it, you're my real estate lead conversion coach. For every lead, I want you to, use a soft touch, give me an opening line to handle an objection, 3 to 5 discovery questions, give me a little bit of education I can give to the client, a scripted close, follow-up text and email. I'm kind of telling it, try not to use fair housing sensitive language, things like that, right? Try to give it some guardrails. And basically what you can do is you can put an objection into here, and it's going to research the documents that I uploaded. So down here where it says upload files, what you can do is you can upload, maybe you have like a Google Doc of scripts that you use. In mine, I put in the Ylopo, the lead conversion handbook, right? That me, Chris, Barry, Gabe, and Jim all created. I put in some of the scripting docs that we use day to day in our team. I put in some of our team scripts, and it explicitly looks at those files when I ask it a question, and it gives me lead conversion tips, right? So for this one, for example, I can kind of go to it and I can simply say, I have a buyer. They are waiting. Let's just throw in this quick scenario, right? Because they don't have. Right, they need to save. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to think for a second. So it's looking through all the docs. And here you go, right? Opening line. To understand, you're waiting to be ready to make a move. Smart thinking is giving me discovery questions so I can kind of acknowledge their objection. Hit them with another question, right? What does perfect timing look like for you? How long have you been thinking about buying? It gives you a little educational nugget, right? So you could tell them this, most buyers assume 20% down is standard. It just kind of informs of your game plan. Why don't we set up a strategy session, right? So if you have no idea where to go on a lead objection, you can literally type it into a custom GPT like this, and it'll help you out. So this is something that's been super useful for me and my team, and my ISAs use it a lot, just to kind of help them with objection handling. So I can definitely share a link to that for everybody too.
That's cool. Love that, Matt. I'm very, very excited for all of this. I want to take just a second to breathe before we keep going here. Why don't just a quick question here, drop this in chat on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10, 10 being I'm an expert at ChatGPT, 1 being I don't know what I'm doing. Rate yourself. I'm just curious to see how this goes here. Cool. Very, very cool. Love this.
We've got
Okay.
a good mix of everybody, it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. And they're still coming in. This is awesome. Okay. So I have two different prompts prepared, and then Matt and I are on office hours every day, and we tend to virtually hang out a lot. So we're gonna save some time to riff too a little bit, but just to kind of let the audience control the pace here. I have one prompt to share that's going to be inside ChatGPT. It's going to help us understand how to replicate the things that went well when we close a deal. And then I have one prompt that is specifically for follow-up bosses embedded AI messaging. Which one do you guys want me to do first? Put follow-up boss or ChatGPT? I've got one FUB. FUB.
That's a
Okay,
popular one.
there we go. Okay, so let's start there. Matt, you did a really great job explaining prompt building quickly there. And I'm going to use that platform that you built for me to share this. So one of the perks of being a realtor in residence with Ylopo is we get a lot of time to do research. And I have been spending many hours inside FUB's message generating AI pieces. And I think that I have built a really solid framework on how to use this thing. So you saw Matt talk about the way that ChatGPT likes it. This is kind of similar, but there are some kind of known givens because it's of the way it's set up inside Follow Boss that you don't need to give it things like length. But you probably do want to give it things like tone. This document is going to be available to everybody in the YSC, of course, and we might even let this bleed over in office hours tomorrow if you would like to be there. Maybe Matt can drop some office hours links in the chat there for us. But this is kind of what I've learned. The guardrails that are already in place, you don't need to re-reference. You just need to give it purpose. You need to give it tone. You need to give it descriptors, and you need to give it structure. And these are kind of some examples that I've found that have worked best, but you, by all means, add your own creativity to this. This is fun. The template you're going to use is this. You're going to write and you're going to add your own tone descriptors, your own purpose descriptors in here. And then here's kind of an alternate that I've also used. And the example that, and I'm going to jump over to FUB and use this, is that I have come up with here is write a warm and conversational text that references something we previously discussed and checks in on the home search progress, shows genuine interest in their situation, and includes a simple question to encourage a response. Keep it brief and natural. So you can see for tone, I'm using warm and conversational. For the purpose, I have checks on their home search progress. This descriptor, I have brief, and this descriptor, I have natural. So I'm going to jump over to Follow Up Boss here. I'm going to just pick somebody like Antonio, and then I'm just going to go into messages. Once you're on this messages, you're going to have these 5 options. Email also will have the same options for you. The one we're going to use here is custom. So you're going to click that and this box will open up. I'm going to just paste that in there. I'm going to press generate. Now, ChatGPT does take some time to generate. I think the FUB one is a bit quicker on it, to be honest. And what it came up with here is, hey, Antonio, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to check in and see how your home search is going. Have you had a chance to discuss monthly payments with your loan officer yet? Let me know if there's anything specific you're looking for or if you'd like to explore options together. This is probably the last conversation I had with Antonio was around monthly payments. I'm just going to pull in here to a different one. Same prompt, but one of the magics of this Follow Up Boss AI piece is it can go into the history you have with this lead. Like you can see here, Chuck has scheduled a showing for 11 a.m. on Saturday for 22 Dow Street. So the message it came up with this time was, "Hey Chuck, just checking in to see how everything's going with your home search. I remember you were interested in 22 Dow Street and had a walkthrough scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. Are you feeling good about it? Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can do to help."
And this is looking at
Oh,
everything, right? Chris is looking at the properties they looked at, any conversations that you might have had,
exactly.
literally going through the whole API and looking at the full details of that lead, right?
Right. And what this does for me is it becomes, let's just be real about agent to agent for a second. You know, those days where you're like, I really should have texted Fred. And I'm overloaded. I've hit that decision fatigue limit. We have lots and lots and lots of communication. I have 265 text messages with Fred. I just don't know what to say. I can just go here, drop my prompt in, and let it go through all of that API, let it go through all that information. This connects directly to my IDX website. And so those properties Fred looks at, the prompt can know about those. The last time Fred was on the website, it can know about those. It's also got some connections to understanding the overall flow thanks to how the deals tab works. And so sometimes this prompt will say things like, "Hey, the market's changing, and I was just checking in to see if you're still looking at a house."
Chris, do you
It
find this one that over time it kind of learns how you're talking to people in your text
it
messages, or do you still
does.
have to kind of customize it a little bit? What are you seeing there?
I don't have the specs on it, but my gut tells me that it does. It definitely has picked up on my tone. It kind of knows what questions I like to ask, what things I like to talk about. Um, and we have these four other kind of pre-written prompts here for us as well, but this is that custom one. So hopefully that one's helpful there. The other one I'm going to share is this one will be inside ChatGPT, and its role is to tell me what I did well and what I can replicate. So this prompt is going to be long, and I'm not going to take the time on this webinar to go into how this all works. But the document here is laid out in a way that it will make sense. I'm just going to jump over here to ChatGPT and show you kind of what happened. So what I did is I took my most recent closing. Her name is Marilyn Strong. And I just picked her name. That was actually on my screen when I first came over here. And I'm on an Apple, so for me it's Command P. If you're on a PC, it should be Control P. And I just made sure this was set to save PDF and created a PDF of the entire history that I have here with Marilyn, all the communications here, all of that stuff. So just like I was scrolling at. And then I'm inside ChatGPT. When I put the prompt in, I also attached that PDF as a file. Now, this prompt is set up in a way that it's very detailed. It's going to tell me what I did well, what would have killed the deal if I mishandled it. It gives me a brief overview of the timelines and the behavioral signals that I did well with, so on and so forth. But what is most important to me as somebody who probably is not going to read all of that stuff, at the end, it gives me section 10 gives me replicable lessons. So match priority alert speed, reply within 15 minutes, ask a specific question, attach one click list. For me, the click list here is the dynamic listing alert link from my Ylopo stars pages. So on and so forth. But I really want to highlight this because this is something that we were kind of talking about in chat while you were talking there, Matt. This is the real application example of everything that we learned from this. the lead, Mary H., she viewed this house 4 times. The mobile alert fired. That is the Y priority. She got the Y priority tag, and this is the AI squared product that fired off of that Y priority tag. Then, based on that conversation, I text her and said, hey, that property's vacant. Do you want to pop over there at 4? And she said yes. And then we wrote an offer on the house. So this was a Sunday afternoon for me. All the communication up to this point led us to really dialing in that search alert. The search alert goes out, the Y priority tag hits, AI squared primed me to jump in on the conversation. All I had to do was jump in and say, hey, that property's vacant. You want to go look at it for? Because all of this information kind of leads up to that, I now know what to replicate. Match Y priority alert speed, offer right now showings, celebrate financial milestones, package competitive FHA terms, and keep cold leads warm with monthly hyperlocal lists so your brand remains top of mind. After 5 or 6 closings, you can take all of these outputs and kind of put them together and have a conversation with ChatGPT about it. Even something as simple as this, I could say, that's a lot of info. Tell me what I need to know in one paragraph, if I could type. So
I love that.
while
Whenever I
we're
use ChatGPT and something gets a little overwhelming or gives me too much, I always just tell, hey, break it down, give me a step by step, right? And it's really good at doing that.
Yes, that's kind of what I want to close on this is when you start with a well-engineered prompt, uh, when after your output is done, you can switch into this conversational tone, especially now with the new models that came out. You'll have the opportunity to kind of just talk to this back and forth and really learn. Without getting on a soapbox, ChatGPT is like all AI. AI is the thing that connects the ideas. We can bring it our ideas, we can bring it things that we want it to analyze, and we can have conversations with those results. We don't want to become people who have this AI psychosis as real estate agents and get out of touch with the real world, but we want to be real estate agents who are partnered with AI to understand what's working and what's not working so we can pivot quickly. We can get those SEO pieces back onto our websites. We can use it to help with the objection handling, and we can use it to keep ourselves informed, things like interest rates or the market action index, stuff like that. And so that's kind of what I got here. Does anybody have any questions? Anything else we want to go over?
And I'm gonna also drop a link in the chat right now, Chris, too. This is for our office hours. They're at 9 a.m. Pacific time every day, but tomorrow we usually do a follow plus Friday on office hours, so we can kind of turn it into a 2.0 of this session. If you guys want to learn
Yeah.
more about
Let's
prompting,
do AI Friday tomorrow.
feel free to join us
Mhm.
tomorrow, and we can go over it more there as well. But yeah, anyone have any questions before we finish up?
There will be a copy of the recording for everyone who registered. We'll email you guys with a link. So if you want to rewatch it later or share it with somebody, look out for that on your inbox.
Here, let me share my screen one more time here, fellas. I'm going to go over here to, this is the Ylopo Success Community. Sometimes I shorten that to YSC. I apologize. Here's just the front page. If you go over here to Files, this AI webinar 1, this is the one that I was just sharing there. The 5 things every home buyer wants. Kiwi, that's yours, right?
Yep.
There. So that's how you'll do it. Just Ylopo Success Community, switch over here to Files, and then it'll be right here for you.
Any questions from anybody?
I saw
Cool.
asking about how to set up a custom GPT. I can show that again really quick. So I think you have to have one of the paid accounts, like the $20 a month account, to create your own. You can use anybody's, but to create your own, you have to have that paid account. But what you do is you go here where it says Explore under GPTs, and you just click on Create right here. It's a little plus button, and then you basically just name it, put your prompt in here, tell you what you want it to do, upload whatever documents you want it to research for that, and then just hit Create.
In the community spirit here, maybe use chat for this if you would like. Are there any tasks that you would love to see us publish prompts around? I'm not opposed to regularly publishing prompts in the YSC, but I just don't know what you guys want.
I will share one other tip with ChatGPT while I got you guys. So if you go under settings, or you click your bottom left-hand corner, you should have a picture of yourself. And if you go under settings and you go under personalization, you can give it a name. Like, it speaks to me with my nickname, Kiwi, right? I kind of like that. It's more like a friend. And I also tell it in the more about you section, because I can be lazy sometimes and I can be very short to the point, which is not good for ChatGPT and large language models. So I told it, I built this into its memory for me. If I give a brief description or answer that limits your ability to give the best answer, always ask a follow-up question so you can get what you need, right? So it's going to prompt me to ask a couple of extra things if I don't give it to them in the first time round. So I think that's just always a nice, good practice to have. So that's just one little customization. Oh, and then also under here, actually under custom instructions, ask me clarifying questions until you're 95% confident you can complete the task successfully, right? That's just another way of doing the same thing.
That's
So,
my favorite one.
yeah. Sabrina Raganoff, I think I stole that from her.
I guess if you put it here in custom, then you don't have to type it into your prompt every time, right? Because it's already programmed to ask it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
I took it
limited.
one step further and made it ask them one at a time. Only ask me one question at a time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you can ask, chatty, witty, sarcastic, whatever you want. So a little bit of personalization options available to you guys in there. So take advantage of those if you'd like.
Just don't click the Gen Z button for tone. I saw that one there.
Well,
cool, guys.
Think we're good. Let's give everyone about 5 minutes of their day back. All of these are uploaded now, and I will do another one for you guys in the new year around
awesome.
SEO.
Join us in office hours tomorrow if you guys have any questions. We'll help you there.
We might even do some live prompt writing tomorrow during office hours. Sometimes I like to volunteer Matt for things without asking him first. So
yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
We'll
see ya.